It's an evergreen topic that ceases to go away. And now the addition of the 9-game schedule for both the SEC and the ACC leads us back to the same tired narrative. Will Kentucky football tuck their tails and run away from the Louisville Cardinals? What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of Now We Can Talk Like Fans. My name is Justin Soforo. We are doing this here on the ESPN Louisville Plus platform as well. Before we do anything, though, do me a solid favor, smash that freaking like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course, hit that bell icon and stay notified for all of our latest videos. And just like without any further ado, we have to get into it because, of course, this topic comes back every once in a while. And I guess as long as Kentucky football plays in the SEC, this topic's going to keep coming up. And this is brought to us most recently by one C.L. Brown of the Courier Journal, who decided to dig back into his bag. Let me go ahead and throw this up there for you all. And that is the Courier Journal article titled "Kentucky Football with 9 Games SEC Schedule No Longer Has Room Annually to Play Louisville." You can go there and read it yourself. Obviously, we're going to scroll down through, just talk about a little bit about what he had to say and highlight a little bit of what the important part. But as being said, normally Kentucky with the SEC going to a 9-game schedule, though the SEC did work in a clause that said that you had to retain one additional Power 4 opponent, which I think most people in the Bluegrass decided to breathe a sigh of relief. Louisville and Kentucky would continue to play because it makes sense. It's worked in. It's already set in stone. Why would Kentucky leave? Why would Kentucky not continue to play their most hated rival, a game that draws the most attention and the most excitement for the Bluegrass State, especially when it comes to the game of football? Also funny because not that long ago, I just put out a video talking about, more importantly, that the game didn't need to be played at the end of the year and needed to be played, more importantly, at the front of the year, when everybody's the most healthy, the most ready to go, and obviously has the most excitement going into their season. But instead, it seems that maybe people would rather run away from what has become an exciting rivalry game. C.L. Brown goes in to put that it was purposely done, talking about the Power 4 opponent clause there in the SEC guidelines, and it was purposely done in part to allow Florida to keep its game with Florida State, South Carolina to keep its game with Clemson, and Georgia to keep playing Georgia Tech. That might be fine for those SEC schools, but Kentucky needs to be able to schedule a Power 4 opponent where winning is hedged in its favor. There are plenty that fit that description, including Wake Forest, Rutgers, Purdue, Maryland, Cincinnati. Sorry, big boy. Sorry, Cincinnati. And sorry, West Virginia. 2 teams that were thought highly in the game of football. Heck, go back to my favorite college football season, the 06-07 season for the Louisville Cardinals, where West Virginia and Rutgers were 2 teams that were the peak of the Big East. The exciting days are over, long gone. And Cincinnati, who used to be a pretty solid football team, one that under Luke Fickell made the college football playoff, though got their ass beat pretty quickly. At the same time, now it's thought of as a lowly peasant program, tied with the likes of Rutgers, Wake Forest, and Purdue. So that's the Scott Satterfield effect there. That's not saying UK would go undefeated against those schools. They'll lose some, they'll win 2. And that's where I get on this. To me, and I imagine a lot of BBN would agree with me or back me up, and I would hope so, but that is just some sorry-ass loser mentality. That is the most pathetic excuse of a program or a mindset for a program going into playing a competitive sport. If you don't want to get into the rivalries, if you don't want to play the games against these teams, against the Louisville, and again, I do not live in some fantasy world where Louisville is an A-tier team. There's the argument that Stoops had on ESPN 680, 105.7, and the ESPN Louisville app Monday through Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday, where they talked about where Louisville's place is. I think he and Nick Valvano this week discussed it. Nick was a little bit more in low B tier, and Stoops was more on the C tier, regardless of where Louisville sits. Louisville football's never shied away from a challenge. Louisville football's never shined away from wanting to reach the pinnacle. While we can debate where Louisville is in the standings of college football and not among the elites, they strive to become one of the elites, to be able to push, as Howard Schnellenberger once said, to be able to have a collision course with a national championship. This mentality says that Kentucky has no dreams or cares or wants to ever pursue anything of the likes of a national title. You don't want to actually, I don't even know why you're even playing the sport. If you come to play at Kentucky and they decide to back away from the rivalry, why do you even play college football? Don't even step on the field at that point. If you don't want to play your rival in a heated game and bring home the trophy and bring glory and bring pride to your side of the rivalry, and that would be the blue side and BBN and everybody who lives out of Lexington and across the state. I couldn't imagine the University of Louisville ever even considering this. Most importantly, I just don't understand as a fan why I would even want to cheer for a team that would tuck tail and run that way. I don't care if it keeps you from making a bowl game. Who gives a damn about a bowl game? Okay, now you can make bowl games at 5 and 7. So what does it matter? 6 and 6? Nobody's excited to get to 6 and 6 anymore. And I'm sorry, Kentucky. If I'm a Kentucky fan, the days of talking about having Kentucky make a bowl game being a big deal, going 6 and 6, nobody cares about those anymore. Look at the crowds at those games. Unless they're one of the, quote unquote BCS bowls that we used to have, or one of those top tier New Year's Day games, nobody cares unless you're making the college football playoff. And even less now that the college football playoff has expanded. That's all that people had to go for. So at that point, I think it's a wash. I don't really care what happens with making a bowl game for either of these programs, to be honest. It's all about, can you push to be at the top of your sport? And that's what this is about. And the only way that Kentucky or Louisville are going to be able to push to the top of their sports is if they can go and play each other and beat the other. So that's the struggle that I have. It's a loser mentality. It's pathetic. It's sad. It's miserable. I understand. I get. And I'm not. This is not a reflection on C.L. Brown bringing up the topic, but I think it's overall. It's speaking to the program of Kentucky. You might as well fold up the football program at that point. What's the point if you don't want to go out and go play, a good team? If you just are even worried about the idea of losing a game, it's pathetic. Do better. Do better. And I'm not putting that. I'm not putting that on anybody except for maybe Mark Stoops, who of course would love to just play Cupcake Central. And even though we can go over here and we can look at the. Let me put the screen back up. You can look at the Governor's Cup, the rivalry, and how it stands of late. And obviously, Louisville's won a lot more in the modern day series than it had in the past. But Kentucky's been very competitive as of late. Obviously, a lot of those under Scott Satterfield, but the wins are wins, and they dominated in a lot of those. And they were getting SEC talent, and maybe the money was there. But regardless, now that Louisville has Jeff Brohm, and now that Louisville has things going, and now that there's a possibility that you're going to have 41-14 beatdowns like there was last year, there's no reason to run away. As much as Louisville got beat down in the game, obviously they tried to take the win from them. Kentucky still got that win in 2021, the 52-21 massacre, and then the year before the 45-13 obliteration of Louisville. I dealt it. I took it on the chin, if you will. I just couldn't imagine being a fan of a team that wanted to step away like that. Just wanted to take their ball and go home. It's pathetic. It's sad. It's embarrassing. And there are some people that agree with that on the blue side. I don't think they speak for a lot of people. One is Michael Bennett of just the Cats Radio. I could not agree more with this article. UK football gains nothing if they beat Louisville and loses way more if they lose. At this point, if you can't beat Louisville, you're not making the playoffs, so what does it matter? What is going to the Boca Raton Bowl or whatever the hell bowl game, badass lawnmowers, big fans, whatever those are, what does that get you? Do you all just love going to Nashville that much? Is the Music City Bowl just that much fun? You can't just go down to Nashville on your own weekend? You got to go watch the Cats play down. Maybe they'll play Wake Forest. Maybe they'll play who knows what they may play. Regardless, I think it's ridiculous. Though, I feel like cooler heads will prevail. I think competitive minds, strong leadership will prevail in the end. And today, I think there was a legislative meeting, And on a positive note, both Mitch Barnhart and Josh Hurd were at the legislative hearing this morning. Both athletic directors of University of Kentucky and University of Louisville spoke to this and kind of spoke to the rivalry. Mitch Barnhart said it's good for both fan bases. I see no reason to challenge that. Josh Hurd said it's something our fans want. It's something our coaches want. So hopefully that sentiment will remain, and hopefully we don't have to worry about an issue where somebody sneaks out the back door and you no longer have a competitive Governor's Cup to look forward to every year. I still stand by the sentiment that the Governor's Cup should be moved to the beginning of the year. It was much more fun. It was much more interesting and competitive, especially when you have both teams at the height of their health and excitement. They hadn't quit on the season yet. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions. What do you think? BBN Kentucky fans, do you think Kentucky needs to run away from this rivalry? I understand, just for one more game that they could possibly get a W in, just to go beat another Eastern Michigan, to go beat a crap bum state, if you will. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Louisville fans as well, let me know your opinions on this game. If there's any reason that you see that it should be let go. Sorry, this is something I'm passionate about. I love the rivalry. I think it's a lot of fun. I understand the nerves, though basketball, way more nervous for during those games. The nerves and the anxiety that you feel. Ethan Moore, who is on 93.9 The Ville every Wednesday. Usually Wednesday, they may move it around depending on the basketball schedule. 7 to 9 p.m. You can catch them on Louisville Sports Live with Taylor Lynch. I want to make sure I get those drops in there. But anyway, he has to go for a walk. Ethan Moore goes and takes a walk, doesn't know what he'll see, and then he'll come back and then he'll review it if they win. I understand that feeling. I get it, but I can't do without it. And I think if you're a true fan of competitive sports, if you're a true fan of the University of Louisville, if you're a true fan of the University of Kentucky, you agree with me. And I think most of them do. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Follow me at Justin Soforo on Twitter. And of course, you can follow ESPN Louisville and 93.9 The Ville on all of the associated platforms that you love. You can find us there. Cards, cats, bourbon, and bluegrass. I mean it. See y'all next time.